God bless you, and thank you for joining us. I'm Minister Billy Burton, and welcome to the 11th year anniversary of Sunday School Insights, which began as This Week in the Bible. This audio teaching series is an evangelistic tool brought to you by Inspirational Minutes Ministries International, Advocatus Ecclesiae Publishing, and Ministry Outpost. We hope and pray that these lessons will reach those who, for whatever the reason, either can't or won't come to a Bible study, a Sunday school class, or a traditional church service. Subscribe to our channel here on YouTube and then follow us on Facebook, where you can read your Bible lessons faithfully each week. Our Facebook link is conveniently posted below. Our background music, Worlds Away, is provided by the artistic genius of J Man at www.ourmusicbox.com. Again, we thank you for joining us, and Sunday School Insights begins now. This week's lesson is entitled, Israel Demands a King. Our scriptures are found in 1 Samuel, chapter 8, verses 1 through 11 and 18 through 20. Years back, when Samuel was called by God and raised up to judge Israel, the days of Eli, judge and priest, were ending. Eli's 2 sons had walked away from the ways of God, and the Philistines ran buck wild throughout Israel. Samuel was on the Lord's side. He stepped into leadership and brought God's people back to him. But this didn't last long. People usually cry out to God when they've brought trouble on themselves. But when the coast seems clear, often they slide back into idol worship and flesh-pleasing ways. Now it was Samuel's sons who had gone astray, and the elders of Israel were sick of it. They gathered together and brought their complaints and demands to Samuel. Israel wanted a king. They had been led by God through judges for 300 years, but that was no longer good enough. Samuel, still fearing and walking with the Lord, didn't like it, but he listened to what they had to say and went before the Lord in prayer. Israel wanted to be like all of the other nations around them, apparently not understanding, even after all that they had been through, that the only reason why they had the upper hand was because God protected them and walked in front of them. Had they so quickly forgotten the 34,000 men that died and the taking of the Ark of the Covenant? The fear, the shame, and the embarrassment that they brought upon themselves? What about you and I? Are we that different? Or do we too try to use God when it's convenient for us, but want him to step aside, please, when we think we see a better way? Samuel and God had a sobering conversation. God assured Samuel that it wasn't Samuel that the people were rejecting, but it was a rejection of God. God said he would give them their king if that's what they think they wanted, but they weren't going into this blind and without warning. They were told exactly how their sons, daughters, and belongings would be taken and treated by the king, and that in the days when it became too hard to bear and they cried out to the Lord for help, that he will not answer them. The people understood and still insisted on having a king. Samuel was the last of the judges. We ask that you follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channels. Give some devotional time to our new teaching series called Understanding the Tithe. Come back and join us here again next week, God willing, for another lesson of Sunday School Insights. Our background music, You On My Mind, was composed and performed by Jay Mann at www.ourmusicbox.com. God bless you.